Hello, this is my rendition of the Cleave build. Yep, on Sork, I'm a Dark Elf, so yeah, Dark Elf, proof. Ooh. Let's see, what should I start with here? I guess we can start with gear, why not? So we use Bewitch Sugar Skulls, generally. I thought about using Braised Rabbit with Spring Vegetables, whatever, the just buy stat food. Since it gives slightly higher stats for health and stam, and by slightly it's like 500 and 800 or something like that roughly, so it's nothing major and it's probably not worth it. But if you're really trying to min max, you can do that, because I'm using all tri glyphs on my armor, so I got a decent stam bar, or a mag bar anyway, so I should be about 18k just with dark elf buffs and everything on the mag. But when you're actually in groups and running around and doing, all your skills, because most of these skills, half of them at least, are mag abilities, it goes by pretty quick. So at 18k at least. So if you were just going for straight bombing, I'll show you that build. If you're like trying to solo stealth bomb or something, I will show that build at a later portion. But for now, we're going to show what I do for groups. So Inventory. So we got Master's Great Sword. I don't have Perfected. I haven't done much DSA since that was even a thing. Perfected in there. I just haven't gone and reformed them all. But I use Precise because I go for more of a crit build. I have about 42% crit base. Weapon damage enchant, obviously. I'll get to that later. Then you want Resto, Staff of Darkon. That'll be in the back part of your pocket. I have that Nern, so it buffs the damage of Caltrops or whatever else I choose to use on that bar, plus negate. Plus it helps out your heals a bit too. And then Battle Orgs, like I said, it's all try. I have 511, all gold. I'm running 4 Impen and 3 Divines. And then on my jewelry, this is kind of the weird part. I have Bloodthirsty, Triune, and Robust. So the Triune maybe not that necessary, honestly. I was just kind of trying some things out. But definitely for Robust, I feel like that is the better deal than going Infused. Because Infused, so the way it works is 1,000 stamina equals the same amount of damage as 100 weapon damage, and same for mag. And so the difference between a infused, yeah, the difference between the enchant having infused trait and just not having that is about 104. So let's just say 100. So that'd be equal to about 1,000 stamina. So, okay, 1,040, let's just say. And with robust, you get 877. And a big part of this build is having enough stamina to be able to actually get your cleaves off. So the higher the stam pool, because this trying to work it the way it is without, being able to standardize much and keeping your high health, well, your health relatively high. It's really hard to keep a stam bar high enough to maintain that. So I've always liked robust and like the stat giving ones over infused in this game. Although bloodthirsty, I do that at least on one because it does scale really well, especially because depending on what you use for the pool, it's going to pull everyone in and do a decent amount of damage, get them at least below 90% to start off with before you even cleave for the first time. And yeah, plus as the plagues are going off, it's probably going to be killing people at 50% health anyways, which are taking more and more damage from the bloodthirsty. It just works out that way a lot better in my opinion. So and then the triune is just to, I need to get my health up a little bit. I was just kind of lacking somewhere, and I didn't really know how else to do it without putting attributes into it, which I don't know, didn't want to do. Plus, this way I get some mag as well. That was when I still was kind of debating going the buy stat rather than the sugar skulls. So that's that. So let me get some buffs up here. I'm gonna look at my stats. It's gonna be hard to kind of look at everything at the same time, but I'll use a pot, tri-stat pot, get a hit on. So there's my non-Cyrodiil stuff. I have 18k pen. It was about, I already missed it, but it was about 6,500, probably a little bit more weapon damage. I get about 1,000 recovery on everything. That's with the pot, I think. Yeah. Well, I didn't cast my skills to get all that stuff back. Rip. Oh well, it's fine. That's not really the important part. You can go back and pause and see my stats later. But this is again group-ish build, not straight damage. So attributes, I put a little bit in health, stam, the like. Got sugar skulls. I'm running the thief because crit is important on this build. I'm more crit focused because I'm hitting people for. I've had people send me tooltips like death recaps with me hitting them for 19Ks and 20. Someone said I hit them from 21K, and there's no way you're getting that without it being a nice crit. So that's why I like crit and stacking crit damage through backstabber and I think fighting finesse. I'm not going shadow yet. If I was able to get my health or my crit up more, I would probably go fighting for the shadow Mundus rather than thief through some other avenue. But that's not a thing for me at the moment. So skills, I'll start with back bar. Resto staff bar, we got channel acceleration, radiating regen, dark deal. This is the one that gives you stamina cost mag. Caltrops, that's a flex spot. I'll show you what else we use there later. And Vigor. And plus, obviously, Negate. Front bar is going to be Hurricane, Crit Surge, Silver Shards, Evil Hunter, and Brawler, and Dawnbreaker, I guess. But hardly ever going to use Dawnbreaker. Pretty much never going to use Dawnbreaker. So it's really just there for the fighters to go passive. I might, in the future, find something else to put there. We'll see. So what you would do on this, pretty much, is... Let me go and get my ultimate back before I show what we're doing. So I let up my move pot. I'd have that slotted. I'd get my channeled up. I'd switch. I'd get my 2 buffs here, Hurricane and Crit Surge. I'd switch over here. I'd get my heals up. I'd get a Dark Convert, or whatever that's called. Yeah, Dark Convert. No, Dark Deal. I'd get that going, and then I would, obviously I'd be in a faster motion here, but I would negate Caltrops and do that. Very climactic, I know. Usually in the lag, it doesn't work that well. So what ends up happening is something more like you get Caltrops off, we get 1 off, boom. Then whether you're out of stamina, the lag's not letting you do it, or you immediately get stunned by the 25 people in front of you somehow. So try and have a more than 50% stam whenever you go in. That'll help out in actually making sure you can land more than just 1 brawler. Another thing I have started to do, which I haven't really tested too much yet, but I haven't been able to, honestly, I just tried to start doing it tonight, is you would pull, you would do a brawler, you'd roll across, and you'd brawler again, back on them, and just keep continuing doing that. Just so the rolling would be to keep you from getting stunned, I guess, right off the bat. Or like if one thing I notice a lot is you get the Sork skill not in case, Rune Prison. You get that dropped on you, which you can roll dodge. So it's just kind of a counter thing, I guess. And that's only whenever there's a ton in front of you. Because if there's a fat 20 man in front of you, chances are you're going to get stunned by something. So the roll dodge might help. But, it's all situational, and it's never going to always be the same way with the way bombs work in this game. Some people are better than others at countering bombs, some groups. But that's kind of the gist of it. So we would, also I have on shards, silver shards. So for that, I have that on for if I'm at the top of the keep and I want to do some sort of range just to plague people up. There's been a lot of times where I'll throw plague with silver shards into a group of people, and it would, just having that on, someone hit purge, some idiot would purge them all and they'd all blow up. That's happened a few times to me, so I find it worth having just for that, at least for a group play where you're not taking it to like min-maxing for like personal damage. So what you would do for that is you would just Evil Hunter, because it buffs up your Fighter's Guild abilities by 25%. So Evil Hunter, and spam it a couple times, pretty much. Try and hit different targets with it. It's gonna hit the closest 2 as well. So each one can theoretically hit 3 people. And the more and more people that have it on them, when they blow up, boom, fun times all around. Okay, so now my other setup that I would do for if I was really trying to go sweat for like solo bombing, like maybe on a back flag, is, well, before I do that, if another kind of group comp thing is you would put on Lightning Flood instead, just for like Harmony people, just have an extra synergy for them, because that does tooltip for like 10k base, and then if they've got Harmony, it's like a 16k. It's pretty much the same amount of damage as one of their boneyards. But that does cost mag as well, and it's kind of rough sustaining that sometimes. But regardless, next one that I was going to show you was we would throw bound armaments on for silver shards. You would still keep on Evil Hunter because it keeps on Major Savagery and Prophecy at all times, which you can't get without doing pots, which you want to be using move pots here, not the other ones. So, yeah. So we have band armaments on for the extra health and stamina, and you just gotta proc it whenever you get on that bar. It lasts 40 seconds, so it's really not that hard to keep up. But it only works on that bar, so it's really only functionality is to give you some extra damage on the front bar. Beyond that, you would then throw Daedric Tomb on instead. Caltrops is good because it gives the fracture on everyone, but I'm liking Daedric Tombs for solo bombing because if you're on a back flag, you roll in, you throw your Daedric Tomb in, you nuke them. Chances are they're all going to roll out and hit those on their way out, or they all take damage from this immediate one when they first get pulled in. So that's just more chance for them to die. And it's like 10k per rune, I think. Let's see. This is back bar, so something good. So yeah, so like 11k with an ult up is probably like a 12k tooltip, and plus it immobilizes them, which they'll probably have some sort of immobilization immunity. But with the way PvP lag's been, it's pretty shit. So who knows? Why not just throw another stun in there? So for that, you would get your buffs up here, be behind them, do your pot, you throw that, throw in a gate, go in, cleave till they come home. And then I guess if you wanted, you could just use, you could reapply it, and it shoots off like a little thing at them. It's not very much. It's like 4.5k every 0.3 seconds, and there's 4 of them, so I don't know. It's not, and it only hits one person. It's not really worth doing. But that would be the build for, I guess, yeah, that's at 31k. What are the odds? That was with me kind of leaving it alone, too, after a while. So, I mean, it's a lot of damage. And, Brawler with the Master's 2H goes up considerably. Even just on an extra 3 people, that's an extra, well, 15 times 3 is 45, 40, it'd be 4650 with all that. So then on top of an already like nearly 11k tooltip, that's 15k. That's about as much as a shulks, and you can just keep spamming that over and over again. And that's just with 3 people. You're going to be aiming for having 20 people. So, imagine even if you just have 10, you get that tooltip would ended up being like 25k. That'd be like spamming high hitting Dawnbreakers over and over again on a group until that puts plague on them. So it works out. I'll throw a couple clips of both me trying to run with like kind of a group comp sort of thing and me just solo bombing, just so you can kind of get a feel for how I run it. Like I said, there's that one guy who already posted his on YouTube. That's kind of made it a popular build, but I run mine more crit based because, I mean, crit's the way. Even though plague can't crit, just the cleave alone, having that being able to crit is amazing because they got to go down in the first place. At least one has to go down for the plague to actually matter. So that's just kind of my thought process behind it. When they all get pulled in with Backstabber, though, to go on to Backstabber, when they all get pulled in, they definitely get pulled in from all sorts. They don't get pulled in and just look. Everyone doesn't like all face single file same direction, looking face to face with you. They get pulled in from whatever direction they were aimed at. They just get sucked in like they're still looking the way they were looking. They just get pulled in. So they're all going to be looking all over the place. But if they're not, like I said, swing, roll, cross, and swing, and you're going to get Backstabber on one of the 2 attempts, or if not both, just on different people. So that's kind of overanalyzing it. I don't think you actually need to do all that. This video is probably getting really long, but I do need to show you CP because I've somehow forgotten to show you that entirely. So for blue CP, we would go with Fighting Finesse, Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Backstabber. Backstabber will probably change next patch to Occult Overload because Backstabber gets a pretty considerable nerf, which will hurt the crit, but the crit's fine. The crit's good to have. I don't think it's going to affect the build too much. So for the red tree, we're going to have the 3 at the bottom, or at the side, that give you the, recovery, armor, and health. Then we're going to run Sustained by Suffering. When you're in combat, you're going to have a negative effect on you. And the biggest thing about this build is having sustain. There's so many times you get in there and you just try and throw out a cleave and you don't have enough stam. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is trying to build it like this with Dark Con, the hybrid era of ESO. You can't really get high stam pools anymore if you're not, with the way we're setting up now. And the green tree doesn't matter really, so that can kind of be up to you, however you want to do that. I don't think I'm missing anything. If there is, I'll throw in an extra little clip here at the end, but I doubt it. So, yeah, that's all. Goodbye.